The Reading Language Arts STAAR test will have editing and revising questions on the 2022 test. You may be wondering, what will editing and revising questions look like? Or, more importantly, how do I help my students prepare? In this video, you will learn what editing and revising will look like, how to answer, and how to integrate into your classroom. Angela here from Custom Classroom. Before we get started, I wanted to remind you that I am not affiliated with TEA or STAR. This is my interpretation as a Texas educator and test prep writer. To help students learn more about editing and revising questions, I created 3 sets of task cards, one for elementary, middle school, and high school. The links can be found in the description. In this video, I will refer to one of the middle school task cards. Just to remind you, the STAAR Reading Language Arts test will now include writing. This spring, 2022, there will be no standalone writing test. However, students in all grades will have multiple choice revising and editing questions mixed into their Reading Language Arts test, not just 4th, 7th, and English end of course like before. To learn more about the changes to the STAAR test, I made a video specifically about these upcoming changes. Now, don't panic. These editing and revising questions are field test questions only and will not count until 2023. To better help you and your students learn how to answer editing and revising questions, let's work through some from start to finish. Here's what the questions might look like. There will be a short passage with each sentence numbered, then a few editing and revising questions about some of these sentences. First, let's look at the passage. The Earth is located in the solar system. The solar system is formed by the sun, which is the center of it, and everything that travels around it. An easy way to understand this idea is to think of the universe as a city. The solar system would be their neighborhood and the Earth home. Astronomers believe the solar system is more than 4 billion years old. Our solar neighborhood is formed by 8 planets, 140 moons, asteroids, comets, minor planets, and many other objects. The 4 planets closest to the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, are called the terrestrial planets because they have solid rocky surfaces. The 4 large planets beyond Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, are called gas giants. The furthest planet is over 4 billion kilometers away from Earth. You can see all of the 8 planets in the sky at night using a telescope. For many thousands of years, humanity did not recognize the existence of the solar system. People believed that the Earth was the center of the universe and that the rest of the objects surrounded it. In the 16th century, Nicholas Copernicus was the first to develop a mathematical system that considered the sun as the center. Now let's look at the question. What change should be made to sentence 5? So we know we need to look back at sentence 5. Now let's evaluate each answer choice to see which one, if any, makes a needed correction. A. Change our to your. Let's reread the sentence with the correction to see if it makes sense. Your solar neighborhood is formed by 8 planets, 140 moons, asteroids, comets, minor planets, and many other objects. That's not correct since the author is not talking about only us, your, but everyone, our. B. Change solar to solar with a capital letter. Let's look at this correction in the sentence. Our solar neighborhood is formed by. This is incorrect since solar does not need to be capitalized in this context. The author is just saying solar as in our neighborhood of planets around the sun, not a proper noun. C. Change form to formed. Let's evaluate this change in the sentence. Our solar neighborhood is formed by 8 planets, 140 moons, asteroids, comets, minor planets, and many other objects. That is correct, since the formation happened in the past, and after reading the passage, we can also tell that it is mostly written in past tense. D, no change needs to be made. This is not correct since we found a needed change. Now let's look at the second question. What change, if any, should be made to sentence 3? So now we know we need to be looking back at sentence 3 in the passage. Now let's evaluate each answer choice to see if any makes a needed correction. A, change the semicolon to a comma. Let's reread the sentence with the correction to see if it makes sense. An easy way to understand this idea is to think of the universe as a city. The solar system would be their neighborhood and the Earth home. That's not correct, since both parts of the sentence before and after the semicolon express a complete thought. B, change their to your. Let's look at this correction in the sentence. An easy way to understand this idea is to think of the universe as a city. The solar system would be your neighborhood and the Earth home. This is correct, since the author is trying to make an example to connect to the reader, your, and not to everyone in general, there. C, delete the comma after Earth. Let's evaluate this change in the sentence. An easy way to understand this idea is to think of the universe as a city. The solar system would be their neighborhood and the Earth home. This is not correct since the author is using a comma to set off in a positive home, which is adding more information about Earth. D, no change is needed, is not correct since we have found a needed change. These are just a few examples of editing and revising questions. Now, you may be wondering, how do I integrate this style of question into my classroom and better prepare my students? Well, first, you could add items like these to your daily warm up. You could change a sentence in a passage you already are using by adding an error. You can look back at previous writing STAAR tests for ideas, or talk to other teachers at your school that previously taught writing tested grades. I hope you found this video helpful. If you are looking to help your students practice editing and revising questions, I created 3 sets of task cards found in my TPT store. The links are in the description. Good luck.